Navigating Neva, and I'm your host, Neva Nicole, here with my co-host.
Wesley King.
And today's episode is extra special and a little bit different. Today, our guest is Helen Hughes from the UK from Mini Water Adventures. And Helen has been on the show before, but we brought her back today because she is going to be over here stateside, teaming up with me for an immersive workshop at the Treasure Coast YMCA in Stuart, Florida. Helen, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. As you know, I could speak about this for a long time. What I couldn't think of a better person to be able to do this workshop weekend with, but yourself, Nicole. So thank you. And it's been a long time since I've been back to Florida, and it feels like my second home, and I miss it. So it would just be amazing to be back there.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And I was just gonna say, for those watching, Helen is not in her third home. She's not on a boat, even though behind her it does look like she's on a captain's boat. We're all excited for that. It's disappointing to know she's not. Sorry to interrupt, Nicole. Go ahead. Lots of good things.
So I was going to say, for those of you who have been following us or listening to the show, since the All Things Aquatics event, our new end cap has been Helen and our event. So if you guys have been watching on YouTube, the Purposeful Play Workshop has been on screen, and I've got it up now. So if you guys are on YouTube, it's up there. So the flyer is there. It's also on my Facebook page, and of course Helen's, and then it's on our websites as well. And we've got everything funneling through Helen's Mini Water Adventures page, and that's where the pricing is. But today, that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to go all through what this weekend looks like.
Absolutely. And Helen, I'm sad I can't be there, but I know you were in Florida and you're in the United Kingdom now. My daughter asks if you know the Queen, by the way. She wanted me to ask you that. I said, I'm sure Helen does, and we'll have a meeting with her later. But to that point, you've been helping families and swim schools and organizations really learn swim development through nurturing. Like, we call it a child-led lens. And for those of the that haven't been on listening to the podcast, shame on you. But now that you're back, maybe they didn't hear about you, Helen, the first time around in your MINI mini, not MANY, MINI mini water adventure. So could you quickly fill everybody in about what your program's about and how you came about this, and we can dig into the event itself?
Yeah, sure. No, thank you. Yeah. Basically, I have created over the years a blueprint called Swim Education, and which follows through for my Facebook page and that community. But SWIM basically stands for sensory water interaction and movement. And each pillar basically has an individual philosophy, I guess, but it all encompasses and comes together. And it actually then creates a pathway to what I call water wisdom. And water wisdom for me is essential. It's not just doing survival-based or stroke-focused swimming lessons. It really brings it all together and putting the child first. They are priority. In learning patterns on my blueprint, which is in the middle, the heart of it, I call it the circle of success, which means that we look at the children first, obviously us as teachers, and then we look at the environment, so our pool space, and then ultimately partnering with parents. So that's what the four sort of umbrella, if you like, that we sit underneath. But really, it's all through a playful approach. Now, play has over the last couple of years created quite a bit of a buzz, but it's now actually a word that people use a lot of, especially in the swim industry. It's cottoned on. The fact is, we need a little bit more of an engaging way of teaching, and there's a reason for it, which is what we're going to talk about in the workshop. But I sort of put purposeful play into the mix of it because it truly is purposeful. And that's why I'm wanting to bring that awareness to you guys over in America or Florida specifically at the moment. In hands of where we're going to be going through what that really means and how we can enhance what we're already doing by just adding little bits into what you're already
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love Go ahead, Nicole.
So I love that. I was just in the pool. I got out, got my hair dry, and sat down. I love that. What's so powerful about your approach is that you're not replacing anybody's certificate. Wes and I were just talking about that before you hopped on. It's enhancing it. So whether you're at a facility that has their own curriculum, or you just recently got a certification, or like me, if you'd been teaching for years, or you had your facility had the same laminated lesson plan, you get tired of teaching and you kind of lose that motivation that you had in the beginning. You bring back that spark, that play, and that heart, and that's the piece that helps everything flow smoother, and then it makes the learning feel natural again.
Absolutely. And I think two things are, before we get into the whole what the weekend looks like and the plan, I want everybody to understand two things. One, this is not an in-service. We go to in-service swim lessons all the time. We go to a 1 hour training all the time. This is not that. And second, to your point of the umbrellas, Helen, I'm a big acronym junkie and a big catchphrase junkie. So the acronym for swim, I love. I hope everyone picked up on SWIM. And the other thing I really think was important is water wisdom. When you hear the word wisdom, you think of my 12-and-a-half-year-old son who's actually 65 in his head, but you also think of age. When you hear the word wisdom, you think of age. And the only way you can age is by learning and doing more. And a youth, a young child, 3, 4 years old, doesn't have the wisdom of knowing when to get in, knowing how to get out. A 2-year-old does. And so I really love the idea that you're already approaching it with the idea of we're going to move on, we're going to keep going, there's more to it. It's not just floating, it's not just kicking, because we always talk about the pillars of safety and making sure there's fences and there's all the rules. But the idea of the mindset of wisdom says, I've got to get older to do this. I've got to do more to earn this. And I think it's just a great progressive thinking process. So to those notes, tell the audience about what the event would look like. What's going to happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's November 14th through the 16th for anybody that doesn't have it in front of them. But talk us through some of the activities, some of the meaningful, purposeful play, things you've got going on.
Well, we'll be kicking off the evening with on Friday with Nicole's Joyful Waters. She can obviously explain more about that than I do, because that's an amazing program in itself. So I'll give her the glory to explain about that. And I'm super excited to go through that too. But with regards to the Saturday and Sunday, I will take hand of that, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's been quite a while since I've been in the classroom myself. I used to be a sports science lecturer, and I used to do, because actually with it being sports science, I had mainly boys in the class. So I'd have to be really imaginative of how I could get content across so that it stuck.
Yeah, I'll own that. It takes a minute for us. There's no stereotyping here. We own that. Fair.
You've got to have some tips up your sleeve for sure to be able to and to be honest, I wanting the weekend to be very have a flow like I would do in my lessons. So it's not a case of the children just sitting and listening, or just standing and listening in the pool. I want to do the same in the classroom with swimming teachers. So it's going to be a very hands-on and a lot of activities, up and go. There's not going to be much sitting. There will be quite a big workbook that will go with it. So that will explain in more detail about what is going to be captured in the weekend. But I'm going to be like just bringing it alive so that you can actually practice what we're actually talking about, and give them those tools that they can go away straight away on that Monday morning to really immerse themselves in what we're going to be learning. So Saturday, well, both days we're actually going to be in the classroom first, but like I said, hands-on activities, a lot of movement, a lot of cool stuff I've planned for it.
I love it.
And then also then in the afternoon we'll go in the pool. I will actually sort of show sort of what I sort of get up to, and then Sunday we're going to be doing all that planning and using all the information that we've gathered from that Saturday, put it into planning and preparation, and then in the afternoon we're going to then, it's over to you guys and you're going to practice it in the pool. So
it's never too late to write a new swim lesson plan. It's never too late to write a new script. And I think that's where a lot of instructors get stuck, is My team's been teaching forever. I've been teaching forever. I love teaching. I've earned these certifications, but I'm in this community. I'm in this town. I have these new employees, and I have my blank blank book from my national organization, or I have my local insert own certification here. Wes doesn't want to get too politically incorrect statements, but the point being is it can get stale, right? It can get stagnant. Nicole, tell us about some of the experiences you've had working with Helen and how you've been able to bridge your depth of background, because you are the instructor that should attend this, right? I've been teaching forever. I've got my certifications, but now I can learn more and do more. What's that been like for you?
Well, I'm going to go back for a second and talk about Friday night. So
Oh,
Helen,
yes, fair.
yeah,
Touche.
and then I'll answer that one too. So Helen and I are at the Treasure Coast YMCA, and we're very happy to have them host us. So we'll give them a shout out there. And
Yes.
for those of you that don't know, the Treasure Coast YMCA is a large YMCA with multiple branches. So we're at the Stuart location, which is the main branch in Martin County, and we're happy that they're hosting us all 3 nights. And we've been working with them for a few weeks, months now. Helen and I have been going back and forth on the phone with their aquatic director, so we're excited to be there. That's actually where I got my first YMCA of the USA certification way back in the day. So I'll be back in the pool again, learning there more. So I'm looking forward to that. But for those of you wondering why you should go or why you should be there, I have a lot of certifications. I mean, I have 3 major certifications from huge organizations. And when you get certifications, for example, the Red Cross does a lot of hydrodynamic principles, and I always find those just as exciting as the peer teaching. Like when somebody teaches and you get feedback and then you learn how they do something, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But learning stuff or experiencing it as the learner, I've always been a better hands-on learner. Like I learn better when you let me be the student. We just had the All Things Aquatics event, and the day before, Tom Ford was down in the water and I took his workshop. So Helen's class isn't a certification, it's a workshop, but I'm excited to get in. I've been following her for years online and added her stuff to my courses, but she's not in the States, so I've never attended her in-person workshops. She does do them online, but this will be her in person. So we're getting all of her background, and we get to sit in there and be a student in both the classroom and the water. So it's kind of hard to record that. If you
Right.
want a recorded thing, she's got webinars all the time, but this gives you get to be her student in the classroom, like those teenage boys she had. So that's where I'm excited. So I'm not going to miss it. I'm bringing one of my instructors from my swim school, and we're driving down. There might be 2 of us. Well, there might be 3 in total coming, but we're definitely not going to miss it. And of course, the Treasure Coast YMCA is having their instructors come as well. And believe it or not, there's still a few tickets left.
That's beautiful. And I think that's a big point is the Friday night component with Joyful Waters and making sure that there's so much added bonus to that. And then also is it doesn't matter what letters are after your name, ARC, YMCA, JCC, local park district. If you teach swim lessons, and again, my wife has her own swim lesson business, and if we weren't just in Georgia last month, we would be here now, right? And she has certifications. And I think that's the main takeaway. And we're going to get into some rapid fire here in just a minute. And then we're going to have part 2, which will dive great in depth of what the event's going to be as well, and the workshop is going to be. But if you teach, you've done something already to get in that water. You've already educated yourself in some way. You've gone to some class, which means you're kind of open to learning anyway. And I think that's what this is really about is despite what letters are after your name and despite where you actually are in the water, this is bringing so much depth, insert own aquatic joke there, to the learning process, to how play becomes engaged. I've seen some of Helen's stuff, whether it's learning to use monkey sounds or whether it's using a police car or fire engine, or whether it's not worrying about what level your child's going to be in. And did my child do this skill so specifically that they can pass to level 3 or not? Like that stuff just really isn't the focus. And so I think you as an instructor or somebody who oversees instructors can really bring your team to the next level and say, yeah, we have the certification, but now we have this entire world of understanding on how to apply it in a different way. So, and this is coming from somebody who's not even going because he can't be there because we were just in Georgia, but I wish I could. So to that point, Helen, can I ask you a few questions just
Of course.
highlights what people should bring, how they should prepare, things like that. Some quick
Yeah.
hitters.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Go for it.
Let's see. And they give me a script on purpose, everyone. If you took bets on if I would mess the script up, you already won. Is this replacing my certification or current curriculum? Is this what you're going to provide, trying to wipe out what I do and replace it, or how does it marry with what I do?
No, it just will fit very, very nicely. Well, the same with Nicole as well, what she's doing for Joyful Waters. It's basically enriching you as a teacher. So it's all about experiences, just like it is. Just see it as the same for you, for your swimmers in the water. The more the exposure of water that they have, the more the experience and learning and knowledge they'll have. And same's for you. It's there. Every day is a learning day, and we should never stop. And children are evolving and moving with the times. We live in a digital world with AI now, and those children are different than maybe when we first started teaching. I mean, I've been teaching over 30 years, and they were certainly very different from back in the day. And that's why these type of workshops are really useful to do, because it just brings us up to date. And then also to work with how can we then explain those, and this sort of, it's not new, but it's refreshing to then explain to parents why you're doing potentially little extra bits in your lessons.
Oh,
So
that's a great reminder that when you're done with this class, tell the world you did it, right? Another reason to attend is so that you can tell your members and your pools and your swimmers, hey, look what we did. Look what we're doing to support our community. We're getting help from England. We're getting help from Nicole. We're getting our instructors to be better as a choice. So that's wonderful. First of all, I love the way, and you already have a head start because you have an accent, so people already pay attention, and it shows up in our dialogue. Do I need to bring swim gear? And what would you define as gear? Because we would just call it a swimsuit, but you tell us.
Uh, well, yes, a swimsuit would be great. Swimming costume, as we call them over here. But yes, we will be getting into the pool. Obviously, you don't have to. You're more than welcome to have sit and observe if this is something that you'd rather observe rather than being in it. But obviously the full immersion of getting in, you're going to get a full broad of perspective as to what experience that you'll be getting. And to be honest, you don't really need much else apart from yourself, your humor, and a little bit of open-mindedness,
There we go.
and come with preparation to learn and to be around people that are wanting to learn as well. We're like-minded people. We want to maybe add a little bit to our lessons. So it's probably not going to be a workshop for those of where you're just going to be sit and provided the information. I do have a lot of information to give. In fact, way more than a whole weekend. But the whole point of it is come with an open mind and to immerse yourself. And if I ask you to do an activity, don't just sit there and look at me as if to say, I'm not doing that, because I will get you up to do it.
I love that. This surprises no one. And I know I've gone to great lengths to describe the swim instructor experience for this, and so is Nicole. And hopefully anybody in our audience listening is a part of the aquatic world. But let's say you're not a swim instructor. Let's say you're listening to this podcast, but you know somebody who's a great child caregiver, or they're a great preschool teacher, or anything like that. Would this be appropriate for them, or how would they get involved with this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this would actually be perfect as well if you're an early years teacher as well. And this is something that you might be interested in wanting to do, adding a little bit of the aquatic side of things as well. You've already got the basis information. This will be an add-on to what you've already learnt. If you're a homeschooling family as well, all that we are doing at the weekend will be perfect for if you're adding in swimming as your PE type of element for sport. And this is the type of ethos that you probably already have, the sense that it's very much child centric and putting your child first, and their emotions and their sensory integration and things like that. We're not different because the information's already out there, but
The
for
way you do it is
families.
different. I'll say that. The way you present it is different in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, but for for families that are that understand that swimming isn't just about learning to swim as well. And yes, Nicole and I both talk about survival. Yes, Nicole's whole is zero drownings. We this is why we're doing what we're doing. This is my why, is that I want to create water wisdom. And so this is for people that are truly wanting to immerse themselves in this way of thinking. And but that doesn't just stop at just swimming teachers, because I don't see that
Right.
we're just swimming teachers. So if you feel as though you are, you're a teacher and you teach that age group and you're interested, the philosophy and the information that we go over can be transcribed over or transferred over even into the classroom to what you're doing with your kids. And if you're a sports PE
Hmm.
elementary sports teacher and you're
Oh,
having to teach, not having to, but you're probably put on the list to you need to be teaching swimming, and you're like, ooh, what do I do? How do I do that? Then you need to come to this as well, because that will really help.
perfect example. And thank you. And this is what happens when Nicole gives me the reins. I totally forget about her. So I apologize. But Nicole and Helen, will there be more events like this? And what does the future hold for what we're doing with this type of event and workshop?
So I'm doing Friday night, and Friday night is my Joyful Waters workshop. And my workshop, I'm in the States, and I can come to you guys and do workshops if you request them. And you can get Joyful Waters certified without me coming. The workshop is an extra component that's not required to be certified. Helen is not in the States, so this is, I think, a very one and done for her. I don't know when she comes back to the States, so you kind of want to get your ticket now and be there. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to let Helen speak for herself because I don't know when her next planned trip is. I've known her for a while, and this is the first time I've seen her come over here that she's shared openly with me. Helen, when do you come back again?
Well, I'd love to be able to come back on a regular basis. If this is something that people are looking for, then for sure I will book my ticket each year. Because there is always something for me to talk about. And even if
Yeah.
you would have come to the workshop in November, and we do offer it again in 2026, then there will always be something added on. So you will always learn something and add your string to your bows. But
Great phrase.
next year is a pretty full-on year where I'm going, but I certainly do anticipate to want to come to America, whether it's Florida, I don't know, maybe California, who knows?
Maybe there's a state in the middle of the south of the country, Nicole, that's pretty big and everything is bigger in that state. And at the end of
There
September
there is,
of
yes.
2026, Helen, maybe you circle around the end of September 2026 and a state somewhere between Florida and California that everything is bigger in.
Yeah.
So that could, for any
That's a
audience members
maybe.
that's out there listening and that was just waiting for fated breath of a tease of what All Things Aquatics
Ooh,
#2 might look like, there it is.
So
exciting.
before we wrap
Anyway,
it up, I'm gonna ask Helen one question Wes didn't go over. One, like always, on our show notes, we're gonna include the link to register, and we'll put up Helen's stuff again, so you don't have to fight through her last appearance to find out where you can find her page. But for those listening that may be driving in the car or listening on Spotify or Apple, what is your prices? Because you've got a few different breakdowns. So if they just want to come to Saturday, they just want to come to Sunday, or they want to bundle it together, will you tell us what it costs? And then, of course, we'll add the website for those listening, or we'll put it on our website page.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'd need to look on my website for the price. No,
yeah,
yeah, and the reason for that is because we had an early bird price, and then we had
Hmm.
an autumn saver, and now it's the last pricing structure. But you can upgrade. There are two prices. So just to explain, Nicole's Joyful Waters is the Friday night, so that's one entity, and then the Saturday and Sunday will be the second price. And you're obviously, it's well worth doing both because they complement each other. But there's also the you can actually upgrade as well to do. I don't like really calling it VIP because I think everybody's an important person. But I guess it's that words that everybody uses. I need to rename those. But basically you can upgrade and pay a little bit more in the sense that it becomes more of an immerse, and I sort of give a lot more content to that, which is why it's worth the VIPs, because if you're coming all that way, it makes
Hmm.
sense to then spend all weekend with us.
So
It'll make
I
people listen to episode 2. That's a great teaser.
I went to the website and it says that it's 235 total. If you just do Saturday, it's 98. If you do the full weekend, it's 168. If you just do my Friday night, it's 99. So you can piecemeal it and just pick what you want, or maybe your schedule is only going to allow you to come to one day, and we forgive you if you can only do Saturday or only do Sunday. We'd rather see you one day than not at all.
Yeah.
I promise you'll leave rewarded and excited you came and feel rejuvenated and have tons of stuff to take back to your little ones back at home, whether they're your own kids or kids you're working with. So you can do that, but our early bird pricing and the autumn saver are over. So you'd have to have the final release because we're just weeks away now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. And again, for those listening, stay tuned for episode number 2, where we'll be diving into great depths of the program itself, the workshop itself, a lot of the philosophies behind Helen, some of her background. So it's designed to carry over, but if you just aren't able to attend, listen to episode 2 anyway, because there's going to be a lot of great information. And I think they're going to let me run that show too, so everybody's going to be really excited. No, I'm kidding, they're not. But Nicole, let's close this up, and then we'll get going.
All right, guys. Well, Helen, thank you for being here. I can't wait for next week's episode where we'll talk about your actual methods and how to transform curiosity into skill and fear into confidence. Wes, you've done a great job hosting. Helen,
I try.
can't wait to see everybody in Florida, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a ball.
Yes. All right, guys. Until next time, I hope you guys have zero drownings, and I'll see you all in Florida.